What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of our stainless steel Crusader States campaign. Now, last episode we pulled our empire back from the brink of disaster. We managed to retake Jerusalem. We bolstered our southern cities just in time to possibly hold off this horde of Egyptians that appears to be facing us. And we also look like we might be about to expand in the north. We're sieging Antioch. There is a sizable force nearby. However, I think we might be able to take it, bolstering our cash reserves even more and allowing us to really solidify our position. If you do enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like, leave a comment if you've got something to say. If you want to see more stainless steel medieval Total War 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button. So let's get right into it. So in terms of our siege of Antioch, the army that we are using consists of quite a lot of battered units. We have a few missile units, a few cavalry units, bit of a rabble really. However,
Sultan wishes you dead.
The main opposition army nearby only really has one range unit, which is a few catapults and ballistas. So I believe that we could probably take them out in open combat, drawing out the garrison. We can crush that, and we can move into the city and claim it. So that is going to be the very first thing I do, which is attack this army here, Captain Kahar, and we're going to try and take Antioch. Expand our empire, earn some money, and put the Egyptians on the back foot. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this sandstorm to clear. Here we go, it's kind of dusk. And let's start taking a look at the units we got. I'm pretty happy with the way the AI's organised my troops, I'm fine with that. But let's take a look. So we've got Levy archers, we've got Templar crossbowmen, which are going to be pretty useful. On the flanks, we have the Knights of Jerusalem, accompanied by some mounted sergeants. They're going to be vital in flanking the enemy catapults and ballistas after we engage the main enemy infantry line with our own infantry after sufficiently covering them in arrows, of course. We will then push around the sides, envelop their centre, and crush
the enemy are bringing in reinforcements.
Army. Okay, let's take a look. So I'm just going to order troops into attack. So they've got some Saracen militia and also some spear militia. That is pretty much what their army is mostly composed up of. So we're just going to send all our troops in at them. We're going to fire our crossbowmen and archers just at a lot of the troops they got there. And their general's bodyguard, well, not the general's bodyguard there, where their general is in a unit of Saracen militia. So those guys, they're getting ready to attack. I want our Egyptians. Now let's take a look around here. There's a small unit which is the garrison of Antioch. They're not too big of a worry though. So I'm going to deploy my knights round the flanks. We've got a pretty solid amount of cavalry who are probably going to be very important in this battle, like I said earlier. So they're going to, head towards the fray. My general's just going to advance a bit, just to be close to my units, keep their morale pretty high, and we can begin our strategy. I don't know if this is even a good strategy, but it's the best thing I've got, and it's what I'm going to do. So let's see how this goes. In come the men. Our crossbowmen already going to be beginning to fire, and their catapults already trying to rain death on our soldiers, which is what I'm going to do right there. I mostly want the cavalry to be involved in that, just the mounted sergeants. I want to keep the knights held back just a bit until the battle lines meet. The enemy are more, vulnerable to a concentrated heavy cavalry charge. But like I said, they are attacking me with their artillery. We're engaging. They're starting to get closer. I mean, battle is about to begin. We're going to charge the cavalry. Make sure they're going full speed. And it appears they are trying to defend their flanks here. Which is a bit annoying. So we're going to just get these mounted sergeants here. They've actually enabled themselves to get around the flanks a bit here. We're going to take out their artillery, just like that. Charge into the back of these Saracen militia, taking them out. Catapults, they're fleeing. The enemy army is already starting to crumble. It's starting to wither. And I don't know if they're going to be able to hold on for too much longer. So now we're going to charge into the back of them. Our general, he's been doing his job, and now the main enemy infantry block is going to be charged by a few knights, which have just routed pretty much all of those guys. Now I don't know where the Nubian spearmen are. They're currently a bit shaken, but we are running them down. All our crossbowmen and everything.
Our men have slain the Saracen general. Now we must send these men running back to the desert.
Now we might not have had the highest quantity of troops, but I think they're definitely very good quality troops.
Only half the enemy force remains. Which is why I believe
we have managed to do pretty well against the enemy soldiers. A few of them are left just fighting to the death. And now we're advancing on the only real remaining threat. Our knights, they need to get involved. And the enemy, well, most of them are fleeing back to the deserts. So we're just really going to have to run them down, kill as many as possible. Our general charging some Nubian spearmen. I was hoping to rout them straight away. But maybe that won't happen. There they go. They are pretty crushed. Our archers and everything, they're beginning to reload, beginning to whittle down
our cowardly foe runs.
Threats.
We must push our advantage.
And the battle is looking very, very good for us. I want to make sure the cavalry runs down as many of the enemy as possible. We don't want any retreating back into Antioch to reinforce the garrison. We want to take the city in this battle. So as you can see, we're just whittling down the numbers of the Saracen militia, and it appears to be working relatively well. They're still eager, but their numbers are depleted. They're taking casualties, and soon the rest of our forces will come to hopefully crush them. So our general is going to be the first one to get there. He's going to just dance around the side here and smash into them at full pelts, hopefully inflicting some sort of casualties. And he's going to pull right back out. I really don't want him dying to a random Egyptian spearman. Our cavalry main block is going to pull all the way around here. They're going to get a real chance to charge them. Lances down. And there we go, that's a pretty decent charge. And we're going to make everyone go at the double at these Saracen militia units. Pull back, we've got the rest of the cavalry charging in. They're shaken, they believe defeat is a certainty.
Our men are winning the battle.
And here come the rest of our men.
This, we will smash the enemy. The enemy general lies down.
And we slaughtered his general with a
The enemy flees
charge.
the battle. Run down those worthless peasants!
And now we need to make sure every last man of that garrison is indeed taken out. And let's see, is there anything left? A few Nubian spearmen, they'll do. Every unit we capture matters, so we'll just send the men after those. another unit just to the left. We'll also need to deal with them. But a pretty solid victory we've just won here. Wipe out the last few Saracen militias, and that brings the prisoner total to nearly 1,000. There we go.
All of Christendom
Clear
will be
victory,
awed by our
212
victory
men.
here today.
Killed over 1,500. Not bad at all. So, let's see. Did we take Antioch? If so, I mean, very good. Let's execute all the prisoners. And yes, look, the garrison is empty. We can walk right in.
The day is ours, mon roi.
And claim the city
Seigneur.
for
Battle
our
it is,
own.
then, Seigneur.
Now we get a lot
The
of money
day
by
is ours,
sacking,
mon roi.
but we also get a
This
solid
land is
amount
yours,
of cash
mon roi.
simply by occupying it and, you know, not having to spend half the money on repairing it. So that is what I will do. Antioch, not the happiest city, I wouldn't say. It appears to be not very pleased I just walked in and claimed it. However, it will provide a solid amount of income. I'm going to... what can I train here? Not much at the moment. It's got some solid units. What will increase public order? That costs too much money and takes too long. Tavern. I mean, I think I'm going to have to build a tavern. Increases the population's happiness. I don't think it's too bad a choice. Tortosa. I mean,
Seigneur,
a few of those units could
you
just walk into Antioch just to keep the population from outright rebellion. But that's quite a good victory. However, we are still definitely not safe because, as you can see, in the south there are a lot of enemy forces. However, soon we will be able to train some very good units. We've got some Templar Squires, Light Men-at-Arms, Knights of Jerusalem, and the Knights Hospitalier. So we're going to have a very good army built up. We're going to hold the south. Probably after, now that we've taken Antioch, we're going to focus on just attacking, maybe take Gaza, but just, like I said, solidifying our position. So let's end turn. The Kingdom of France, what are they doing? Nothing important, I'd imagine. Venice, I don't know why they've got a navy there. The Genoese, the Cumans, what else is going on? None of this stuff really affects me. All I care about is what the Egyptians do and what the Turks do. Maybe the Pope and the Venetians, since they're slightly near to me, but that's really about it. So, here come the Turks. Got a lot of merchants there. They don't appear to be trying to directly come out and attack me, which is obviously wonderful. And the Egyptians, my main worry, I would say, because they are pretty significantly attacking us, and they're committing all their forces, nearly all of them actually, to try and take Jerusalem. However, we have a pretty solid general, and unlike our last defense of Jerusalem where all we had was a few pilgrims, this time we have a proper army. So,
Raise your
let's
flag.
fight these
Bring your honor
Egyptians.
as we attack.
We will win. We'll stop them taking our capital. I was about to say they declared war on us first, but that's not really how it is. So, let's just beat them. Here we go. Okay. We have the very imposing walls of Jerusalem here. The enemy siege equipment includes 1 siege tower and 1 ram. That is pretty good. If we can burn one of those, that will make me very happy, because that will mean we can stop them quite quickly. However, there is another issue. This army round here, but it appears they brought no siege equipment of their own, so the place will actually have to station our main amount of forces is at the gates. So let's start deploying troops. We have how many units of missile troops? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not awful, but it's not great. Put them on the walls. These will be very important in whittling down the number of enemy troops. We want to kill a lot of them before they even reach our walls. That's always a pretty good strategy. So where should we place this last unit of archers? I think right here they'll do some good. We do have a mangonel. It's not going to be super useful. Let's think. Our men-at-arms, they're not the best for holding gates, so I'm going to deploy them over here, where it looks like their siege tower is going to be coming in to attack us, along with our elite heavy infantry, who are a bit worse for wear, but they're still very effective. The cannons of the Holy Sepulchre, and just to bolster the ranks, a few standard spearmen, so that's a pretty strong bit of defence there. So all those men, these are one section of our army. Now with that leaves us with a lot of men just to hold the gates. So we're going to get these Templar sergeants here. I'm going to place them in a skiltron just in front of the gates, and they're going to be the first line of defence. However, we still have loads more, so we're just going to layer pretty much all of our spearmen right at the gates. We really don't want to let them in. As many men as we can get. They're not going to get through this lot, I hope. More men coming in. We're going to have our general nearby to encourage our men to fight on. Let's check what else we got left in the square. We have a mangonel, a great cross, Templar sergeants and mounted sergeants. The great cross, I mean, it's some infantry, which means it can be deployed just off to the side here, just to hopefully be of some use. We have some leftover Templar sergeants back here. They're just going to stay here just in case something unexpected happens. And our mounted sergeants are a small bit of cavalry. They're going to wait here to maybe charge the enemy. They try to storm our gates. So already a lot of our men are reloading their crossbows, their bows, and they're preparing to shoot on the encroaching troops. And of course, our towers are shooting at their siege tower. So we've got all our missile units now firing, which means they're all inflicting casualties. I'm not sure how many they'll inflict, but it's better than nothing. So it doesn't seem like, in my opinion, I don't think this tower's going to burn, because I think they're going to get too close. The ram, that could burn. Who knows? Let's go just check over on the other side of the city. They're not attacking the walls. They don't have siege equipment of their own, which is a relief. Our men continuing to shoot down at the approaching forces, whittling down their numbers, as we are doing with their ram soldiers. There's a lot of arrows, a lot of big spears being thrown from the towers, a lot of fire, and a lot of brave sergeant spearmen types waiting to defend their home from their hordes. They will hold, I hope. So we've killed around 3% of the enemy, but it might not be enough. Sorry for that. Levy archers. Now these
Our cannon
guys,
force reach our walls with their siege tower.
To pull
We
that
must
way
repel
slightly,
the invaders.
due to the fact they're not going to fare the best in hand-to-hand combat with a lot of very good soldiers. So they're going to be pulled away from the main bit of the walls, and we're going to bring up a few of the spearmen from the gate just to help. The amount of enemies we've killed now goes up to 4%. Arrows still flying off the walls, but now we're focusing on our infantry rather than our archers. We're waiting here, the first line of resistance, to hold off the enemy. Here come our new soldiers.
The enemy are battering down our gates.
There was a bit of burning oil there, but unfortunately they're under a bit of cover, so the burning oil doesn't do too much against the enemy. We're still holding, but like I said, this siege tower is there. Now hopefully we should get a few reinforcing men coming through, just like that. And they have poured over, they're coming over, here we go. We're going to have to fight now. However, they're mostly just desert archers, which do not fare the best against the greatest two-handed swordsmen.
Our men are winning the
Christian
battle.
Kingdoms.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
6% of the enemy kills. We're bringing in a few more men just to bolster the troops on this wall here. Those archers on the walls already wavering. I'm just going to make sure everyone's on guard mode. I don't want a few enthusiastic soldiers charging back over the gates at the enemy. That would not be the best. So the enemy's numbers are being whittled down. They're losing a solid amount. We're trying to hold the walls here. And the Egyptians are running back over the walls. They have decided to retreat, so we'll see if they move into attack again, or if they hold their positions. Now the archers here, they're in a pretty solid position to inflict casualties on the enemy. They're making it absolutely rain arrows onto the spearmen who are taking the brunt of the attacks. We're still just trying to hold from the siege towers. Our crossbowmen and archers, they're doing their job. We're going to change to fire arrows. We really want to make the enemy scared and uncomfortable. We don't want to make them feel safe just waiting outside.
The enemy's ram has broken through our gates.
Okay, the gates are down. However, we have prepared for this. We have burning oil ready to be absolutely dumped on the approaching soldiers' heads. We have a few brave Christian spearmen waiting to, instantly big rounds after we dump a whole lot of burning oil on them. They're going to hit our lines and they're going to rout. We've done a good job of softening up the men. And we're actually going to bring in those reserve troops. They are definitely not needed.
Our men are winning the battle. If we
right
continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
We're going to bring in the Great Cross Guards. They can do their bit. That sizzling you can hear is the sound of tens of Egyptians being roasted alive by burning oil that we are continually dumping on the enemy troops. I mean, this enemy don't have a general, as in like a family member, so their morale isn't going to be as high. Right, how's the wall defense going? They're not really trying to pull men to the walls, so we need to continue to bring some of the men on the walls down to help the rest of the defenders, where the main battle, I would say, is taking place. We need all available men to get involved, And our general's being absolutely slaughtered. He needs to get out of there. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I don't think it's good. We're continuing to roast the enemy. More reinforcements moving in for sections where they're not as needed. We just need everything to be focusing on the threat at hand, the enemy at the gates. Okay, send in the cavalry. We're going to try and charge them in. They can be of some assistance, I imagine. We're bringing more men from the walls each second because the enemy...
Capaduce! The enemy have the walls!
Quickly,
look to our defense or all will be lost!
Place. And it appears the enemy are beginning
The enemy
to rout.
is badly blooded. They have lost half their men.
Now the second portion of the enemy army is still round the back, so they're still not here yet. We need to keep pushing for the enemy. Okay, it appears a sort of mass rout has taken place here, where many of the enemy soldiers, nearly all of them in fact, are flooding out of the gates in vast numbers, trying to escape our superior forces. So we're going to attempt to run these guys down. Now I don't know what in this army is still not routing. It can't be much. But now we've got to prepare for the second issue. So we're going to get our whole army and we're going to start repositioning again. So the gates are obviously wide open, so we're going to need to designate a lot of men to defend that. But honestly, I think we can keep our current formations. Our cavalry, they need to be going out. They need to be running
the
down.
The enemy general lies dead.
The enemy
Good
troops.
riddance to that Saracen death dog. Praise death will break his men's resolve.
So I'm just going to halt everything that's not our cavalry, because they're going to be the ones who continue to go out and fight. And the rest, I hope they reposition decently. We can start trying to just put men in front of the gates where they're needed. And we will have a few men left up here, just because, you know, it is important that if the enemy do try to charge the siege tower, we do stop them. So we're just smashing into these desert archers here. They're going to be routed. They're already wavering. And we have killed a lot of that enemy force. And now we're going to charge right into these guys. These
our men are winning
archers.
the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
So we're trying to hold the gates. We're doing a pretty solid job of that. And we're already routing a lot of the enemy. The first army is starting to crumble under our continued offensive. And the Arab cavalry is not faring so well. Now the enemy army do appear to be trying to come around the walls a bit, so I am going to deploy the archers around here. I do want them ready to be raining death as the enemy approach. So there they go. Now a few of them, for some reason, appear to have stopped routing, so we've got to make sure the entire enemy army is indeed fleeing the field. So that's why I am charging whatever's left here. But they're pretty resilient, these Egyptians. They are definitely not giving up without a fight. We're manning these towers here, so we can be shooting down at the enemy, because the battle is nowhere near over yet. We've still got to hold the walls.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
We're going to get the men to go back to bows and start shooting at those guys. And these cavalry over there, they might be a bit of a pain, so we're going to have to deal with them as well. And we're routing a lot of the enemy at the moment. However, they are bringing around that desert cavalry they just got because they want to attack our guys. Now the desert cavalry have javelins, which are really good, and just chopping through even armour. They've done a lot of that already, killing significant amounts of my general's bodyguards. Now the archers, they're on the walls, they're ready. Now because a lot of the enemy is still yet around there, we're going to pull the general there so some of his men can man the towers and hopefully end up holding it. These Templar crossbowmen, they've been here for a while. They're still just kind of firing a few pot shots off at the enemy cavalry. I mean, I'd imagine they'll be killing some, but not too many. Our general's coming around here. It should just be in time to kill a lot of the Mamluk archers and things that are just going to be sitting there and hopefully being killed. Our crossbowmen, they're doing their job, sitting on the walls and killing the enemy. Now, at the moment, the enemy seems content to just sit back and wait. So we're also just going to kind of sit still. And, I mean, the enemy aren't even charging us at this rate. They're not trying to get close. The only thing that's even daring to get near the walls are these Nubian archers, who I don't think will fare too well. I bet you they won't even make it into the city, because burning oil does something to a man's heart. It makes them really like the prospect of running the other way, so that is pretty nice. Now the reinforcing army, as you can kind of see, is not even trying to get close. However, these annoying desert cavalry, they're taking casualties. And for now, the reinforcing army, like I said, seems content to just wait and try and fire arrows over the walls.
We must push our advantage.
General. These guys here, they're just standing still. So our general, he's going to move into a tower that has a better chance of hitting the enemy. He's going to move into that tower there, and we can hopefully begin killing quite a few of the enemy force just by standing still. We've killed over half of the total enemy force, which includes both armies. Now, since they're coming around from this way, they'll probably try to go for the nearest available entrance, which would be the gates. So that is where I will be waiting. That's where I'm probably going to concentrate most of my forces. But here comes the rest of the enemy force. They're coming around here. Our towers are shooting, and now our archers, they know it's the time to begin shooting as well. So they're going to shoot at just all the approaching units. So are these crossmen we've got here, who have a solid angle on them. But these Mamluk archers could prove to be a bit of a pain if we're not careful. So get all of the men in. Burning oil, slaughtering a lot of the troops that first reach our walls. And like I suspected, they're all going straight for the gates. So I want to get involved already.
The battle is very much in our favour. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
And all the original cavalry force has decided they would rather not be sitted, poked by a spear and doused in burning oil. I can't imagine why. Archers raining their deadly volleys on the enemy. I don't know how many casualties it's inflicting, but it's surely doing something. We're going to bring down a lot of the men on the walls over here. We're also going to bring around these crossbowmen, because at the moment, if we're being honest, they're not being too useful. Bring down all the men up on those walls, get everyone to run, because the main bulk of the enemy army is approaching. There's a few leftover units of archers round the back, but this is what we're focusing on. This huge amount of spearmen, archers, Nubian soldiers, all who are going to be a bit of a pest. Now, crossbowmen reloading, they're fighting and shooting. We need the burning oil to do some good work here. So I'm just waiting for some more of that to rain down. As so, it always does a great job against the massed enemies, and it really reduces the enemy morale. So that's doing good against the enemy. They're wavering.
The battle is very much in our favour. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
And so we're going to switch back to the flaming arrows. A few of our archers, they need to get down there. They have ran out of arrows, so they're now useful as some sort of foot soldiers. But most of the enemy, I believe, are being killed by the burning oil, because I don't know where half the enemy force has disappeared off to. So now I believe is the time to start pushing, to start really making the enemy reconsider their choices, attacking what seems like the most heavily defended fortress in the Middle East.
The enemy general flees like
So
the coward he is.
the enemy appears to be
Press onward
running
and break the spirit of his
pretty
army.
fast, and so we're going to begin running them down, taking prisoners, who of course will all be executed, and just winning this battle, because that's what it is, as good as won. Here comes some desert cavalry, who are charging the walls, it
Bonsoir,
seems.
Sunny. Our men have captured the enemy general. Guard
No, he's
him
just-
well
he's just
and
a
make it so he
captain.
can see us defeat the
So
rest of
he's
his
not
army.
going to actually do too well. We're routing pretty much all of the remaining enemy troops, killing the desert cavalry. There's some desert archers left, but they're being cut down. I believe all that is left of the once massive enemy force is a small group of somehow eager desert
Our
archers.
cowardly foe runs.
And
We
there
must
we
push
go.
our advantage.
The Kingdom of Jerusalem has once again triumphed over the Egyptian hordes. There we go. Lovely battle. We did pretty well, I would say. I mean, we killed a solid amount of them. We're capturing even more.
Bonsoir,
Heroic
Sunny.
victory,
Our foe
I
is
mean,
utterly
We
vanquished.
did very
Let
well
all
there.
who glorify this.
Those are two battles we've just fought there that have been very useful for solidifying our position. Which, as I've said before, and as I will say again, that is the focus of what we're doing at the moment.
Abandon your honor. Please.
God, praise
There we go. We've won. Again, whittling down the enemies. However, there is another battle yet to be fought. However, that will be for next time. This episode we've successfully expanded, defended our southern borders, re-stabilised our treasury, and we're about to fight again to defend our more vulnerable city from yet more enemy Egyptians. Thank you for watching this episode of my Crusader States campaign. If you did enjoy, please do consider leaving a like. Leave a comment if you've got something to say. And if you're hyped for the next episode and you're ready to see it, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.